Good YouTube, Sandman here. And as you can see, we made the push 500 gear score. We've hit it's not the max. Clearly the max can go a lot higher. There's a 509 for you. But I thought I'd let you guys know how I did it in 2 days. Literally, not even 2 days, like a day and like maybe 2-3 hours of gameplay the next day. I'll warn you right up front, there's no point in pushing to the max gear score. It doesn't work the way it did in before this last update. They've changed the way gear drops now, and apparently 500 is just supposed to be like some random thing. Like, it's not like you hit 500 and then everything that drops is 500. That's not how it works anymore. So, but I'll start from the beginning. I'll try. I'm probably gonna miss out a couple details, but I'll try to give you guys the basics on how I did this. So here's the first tip: when you first come into World Tier 5, like number one, of course, get to World Tier 5. I mean, everybody knows that you're not gonna hit 500 before then. So get to World Tier 5. You know, complete your tidal basin and all that. Your first run through is incredibly easy. It's not like there's nothing to be worried about. Use whatever gear set you already have. It doesn't matter. So you get to World Tier 5, here's the first tip. So if you max gear scored the last patch, you probably have a lot of gear that's like 460, 465, perhaps even 470. I know some people were saying you could get as high as like 480 plus. The highest piece I had was a 470. It doesn't matter. Here's my first tip. All of your gear is 450. Because it's World Tier 4 gear. When you hit World Tier 5, the game is only going to read your gear, even if it says 465, 470, whatever, it's only going to read it at 450. You will notice this very quickly because even your higher level drops will be like 460s. And it'll still be lower than what you already have, and you'll be going, what the hell is going on? Believe me, I went through this myself. I had put on all my max level stuff. I was like a 462 when I hit World Tier 5. All the stuff it was dropping me was like 450s, 455s. Those are my base drops. And then my higher level drops were like 460 to 465. I was like, what the hell is going on? And then it clicked, wait a minute, it's reading all this World Tier 4 gear as 450s. So that's the first thing you need to keep in mind. There's a way around that. Hopefully, when you were playing, and this is, I don't recommend doing this, like I said, your gear score really doesn't matter anymore. But, if you're just like me and you just really want to hit that max level, here's what I did. I came in here, and I literally went into all these improvised pieces, not the brand names, because you'll run out of shit you need. And you may want to craft those later on, way down the line. But the first thing you're going to do is you're going to come in and you're going to upgrade your crafting station. When you hit World Tier 5, you're going to be able to level it up again. Even if you've already leveled max level, you know, your gear station to max level, when you hit World Tier 5, you'll get another level you can push. So first thing is raise your crafting table. Once you do that, go in and make these improvised stuff. And it doesn't matter how high it drops, just make sure it's higher than what you have equipped. That's what you're looking for. Higher than 450. Even if you have a 470 on and it drops you a 467, equip the 467. Or at least keep it in your inventory, on your character. Not in your stash. That doesn't work. A lot of YouTubers are saying that, and that's false. It has to be on your person. It doesn't have to be equipped, but it does have to be on your person. So that's going to be your first two things, is one, upgrade your crafting station, two, make all this improvised stuff. Replace all of your gear that's been modded to go above 450. Because this is going to give you a major jump. It really is. And it's also going to make your drops, your higher level drops, drop at a much higher level than what they would if you're just wearing a bunch of modded 450 gear. Something else to keep in mind, they've changed the way drops work. Drops don't work like they worked before, where every time you got a gold, it was going to be higher or equal to whatever your level is. It doesn't work that way anymore. I'm at 500, and, well, I was going to get to this point later, but I'm at 500, and I'm still getting drops that are like 490, 488s, shit like that. Like, it's like, what the hell? They've changed it. So don't expect that every gold drop you get is going to be higher or equal to what you have. Most of them are not. In my experience, like I said, this is about a day and a few hours of gameplay to get to 500. It's actually very rare. Now, there are a few things you can do to make sure you get these. I'll tell you up front, I did not spend 1 second in the Dark Zone. I've seen it in other videos that apparently that's the fastest way to get higher level gear. It may very well be so. That's not how I did it. So you're going to go through, you're going to make all this improvised gear, right? You should have a piece for everything, right? Yeah. So, and most of the ones I got dropped right around 470. A little lower, a little higher. They dropped right around that. It wasn't like real bad. Here's the next tip. Hopefully, you've already gotten the Chatterbox. If you've already gotten the Chatterbox, and this is very, like, iffy, and you've gotten an exotic drop. Me, I had gotten the Ruthless. So I had gotten the Ruthless from a random exotic drop. I already have the blueprint and everything. If I ever really want that weapon again, I can craft it. But I don't want it. I think it's a shit weapon. It didn't work very well for me for my playstyle, so I dismantle it. This gave me 2 exotic components. This is very important. If you don't do this unless you already have the Chatterbox at I think it dropped at 490 or 440. It dropped at 440. So what you're going to do then is you're going to go in and craft a level 500 Chatterbox. You will need, it'll use your 440 Chatterbox, and you're going to need one of your exotic components. That's why I said you need to break down an exotic drop that you had already gotten. You cannot use your level 1 Lullaby or your level 1 Ruthless that you got from the beginning of the game. Those, you cannot break those down. So it's got to be, like I said, this is a very, like, iffy, if you are in this situation, you can do this for an automatic major jump straight to 500 on your weapon. So you're going to go in and craft yourself a level 500 Chatterbox. You can probably do this in the reverse way with the Ruthless or the Lullaby or even the Liberty. Honestly, after doing it with the Chatterbox, I would recommend doing it with the Liberty. Because if you look at my gear, like, I don't know how I hit 500 because my pistol is still 483. I had the same problem getting to 450. Pistols just don't drop, like, at higher levels. I don't know what the deal is, but it's just the drop rates are really low. I guess it makes sense because who wants a shitload of pistols, especially when you do get a 500? So I guess I get it, but it can cause problems. So I would recommend, over the Chatterbox, I would actually recommend the Lullaby. And it works the exact same way. It'll eat your Lullaby. I could actually go get my Lullaby off one of my other characters, I forget where it's at, and I could craft a 500 Lullaby. Right? And when I get another 500 main weapon, I'll probably do that just to jump my pistol up to 500. But that's like I said, that's a very selective thing. If you're in a position to do that, it's a nice little jump. It really helps. Believe me, I wouldn't be 500 right now if I didn't already have a 500 Chatterbox. And I literally had it like within an hour of being in World Tier 5 when I realized, oh shit, I could make a 500 right now. So that's the second thing. The next thing, do not come over here and use your like 470 gear the first time you get a few other pieces and optimize it up and try to jump it to like 480 or 490. That's stupid. It's not going to do you any good. Leave that alone for now. The first thing you're going to want to do is go to your control points that you already have open. Not the red ones, because that's going to take twice as long to go hit. And let me tell you something, on World Tier 5, especially when you're not geared and you're not using like gear that actually matches up and creates yourself a nice little set for your playstyle, those level 1, I'm sorry, these right here, level 1 control points are like Tier 3 on World Tier 4. Or level 3 or whatever. They're really buffed. And so even trying to take a level 1 is going to be rough. At least when you're first starting out. Now, I mean, if you have those crazy skills, go for it. But I don't. And so they were very difficult for me. I was dying over and over again. A lot of what they changed in the skills, like my main way to heal myself and the reason I was able to play a lot of harder content, you notice I'm not using the chafe grenade anymore. And that's because they made it where you actually have to like equip it and then aim it and all that. You got to take your eyes off the enemy and aim down at your feet and hope he doesn't shoot it off. It's just a pain in the ass to try and use now. so I don't even use it. I've changed my revive station to be my healer, and then I just use this for aggro. And so, like, I have no way to get up if I go down. I did this entire thing solo. Keep that in mind also. If you got buddies, I mean, you're in a completely different situation. Most of my clan just, I don't know, they saw World Tier 5 and said, fuck that. And so, I did this all solo. So this was the setup I used. This worked pretty good for trying to keep them from flanking you, although they'll just walk through it. World Tier 5 enemies are scaled so freaking high that, especially when you're not maxed out on skill power with crazy good mods, this turret doesn't do shit. Like, it won't even take down a red enemy after firing at it for like 30 seconds. It just doesn't have any power. So you're using that mainly just to direct enemies in a certain way. So the first thing you're going to do, really the biggest, the longest, the grindiest part of this entire thing is going to be getting yourself to 485 plus. Not your overall gear score, but each piece. You want to get each piece up to about 485. When you hit 485, when you go into your optimization, you'll notice that instead of saying like it'll go up to about 490 or so like that, you'll notice, see, the max score on this is a 509. Max score on that is a 504, 503. These can all go up to a certain... You can see it'll tell you what the top level it can possibly get to is. Like this piece, these knee pads started out as a 486. I was able to boost them to a 501. This was a 494. So the higher you get, the higher pieces you get, the higher you can get that overall score. Make sure all your pieces that you're going to go ahead and mod to get them up to that higher, to get them up to 500, can go to at least 500. It'd be pretty stupid to mod one up to 490 something. The only reason I did that one is because it's a True Patriot, it's a piece of gear set. I'll probably never use it. I have the 5-piece. I didn't ever get the 6-piece, but I have the 5-piece True Patriot. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage. Like, there's no point in using that when you could just mix a bunch of golds and create a gear set that's 10 times better. It's garbage. So I didn't really care about it. And so that's the only reason those gloves are only a 498 is I got tired of farming and I realized my stuff's high enough. If I just bump that to 498, it'll put me at 500. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Just go ahead and grind out, make sure all your pieces can go to 500, then optimize. And like I said, the quickest way to get those pieces, there's 2 ways to do it where you don't really have to worry too much about fighting everything. Go to control points that you've already unlocked. Keep in mind, if you unlock them within the last 24 hours, you can't do this. In my experience, the stuff in there resets every 24 hours. Now, if it's already unlocked, remember, you will not get the big yellow case. What you'll get is all the other gear drops in there will have reset, and you can just go recollect them. And so that was the first thing I did, is I went to every one of my control points that was already unlocked, and I grabbed all the gear that was in there. This allowed me to get a couple of the pieces up around 480 or so. The next thing you're going to do is go to the underground. The underground is one of the best places to farm gear and to farm all the shit you're going to need to optimize that gear. Because you got to remember, like, you can have all the perfect pieces you need to optimize, but if you don't have the ceramics and the electronics and all that shit to actually do it, you're screwed. Like, it's not going to do you any good. So that's why I suggest go to the underground. The underground, there's hardly ever enemies. There can be enemies in there, and every now and then you'll run into a heavy with a chainsaw or something like that, but you know, it's dealable. So you're going to go to the underground, right? And there's tons of them. You can find them all over the map. And you know, once you've gone through them once or twice, you'll realize like exactly where to go and all that kind of stuff, and which ones connect where and all that good stuff. You see they're everywhere. So you're just going to go hit all of these, right? I know a lot of people are saying go check the vendors and all that. I have yet to see a vendor with any pieces over 480. Like, I think the highest one I saw was like a 482. So I didn't use the vendors at all for any of the leveling process. Like I said, there may be faster ways to do this. This is how I did it. So you're going to go to the underground. That's going to be your second way to collect gear. if you get to the point where you're tired of the underground, or you've gone to all of them somehow, and you just don't have the stuff you need, then you start working on those control points, level 1 control points that are under enemy control. When you complete those, you'll be able to open the gold crate. Now, there's a misconception about the gold crate. The gold crate does not automatically give you leveled up gear. It does not. I just experienced this. I just knocked out a control point right after hitting 500 just to see what it would drop, so I wasn't speaking out of my ass when I say when you hit 500 you'll still get crap gear. I opened the gold and it gave me, let's see, I can show you the pieces it gave me. From a gold chest, right after doing a control point, it gave me a 498 ACR, and then I think it was a backpack it gave me. Yeah, it gave me a 498 backpack. So just because you hit 500 does not mean you will get 500 level gear. It doesn't work that way anymore. But it will give you the highest, a really high level. It won't give you, like, if your regular drops are dropping at like 485 or so, you'll probably get like a 490 out of there. It's all RNG at this point. Keep that in mind. Now, once you get all your gear up around 580 or so, 585, and you come in here and you say, okay, everything can go to 500, at least to 500. That's when you're gonna mod. And it doesn't really matter what you put on what. Like I said, we're not building. I got really lucky with the way this set up. Like, I couldn't believe I got these knee pads and the Badger. Like, whoa, okay. The Safeguard, which is like the best talent in the game. It just happened to set up that way for me, and to get Berserk on top of all that. Like, I got really, really lucky is what I got. But unless you're lucky, that's not what you're going for. You're just trying to get to 500. Like I said, I don't recommend it. This is how I did it. After you modify, that's going to jump all your gear up over 500 if you do it correctly. Like, it's about patience. You know, like, you may not have a chest that goes to 509. Most of your stuff may only go to 500. Well, then you're going to have to work harder to get a weapon that's 500. So the longer you wait and the more you push, like if you get all your stuff to 490 and then mod it, you're going to have a bunch of 505 plus. Getting a 500 weapon is going to be that much easier. Now, I've heard that there are ways to bump your weapon up to 500. I don't know specifically how to do that. I didn't do it. I just kind of went through random drops. So there's videos on how to do that. They can help you. But after you get to that point, that's it. And then you're just farming for those last few pieces, for your weapons, for your pistol, whatever it is that's going to be low level. Whatever weapon you have that's going to be low level that you can't jump up there now. Now, remember, like I said, if you don't have a 500 Chatterbox or Exotic or whatever, this is going to be a little bit harder. But it's going to be the same system. The main suggestion here is do not mod that gear just to get a little bit higher just because you think you're going to climb the level faster. It's not really going to matter. And you're going to waste a lot of stuff that you're going to need, because jumping, put it this way, jumping from 475 up to 485 and then having to re-farm everything to jump to 490 something is just stupid. It doesn't make any sense. Just farm up to about 485, 490, and then you can just make the jump straight to 500. And that's it. That's really it. That's all I did. That was my entire process. It literally took a day and a couple hours. And as you can see, I'm sitting at 500. Final statement, it wasn't worth it. Like, it really wasn't worth it. My drops are still dropping between 490 and I've yet to see another 500. Like, I got that shotgun out of an actual level up crate. That wasn't a drop. And so I literally have not seen a 500 drop yet. I'm at 500, but I haven't seen a 500 level drop. I don't know what the deal is with that. I'm honestly, on a personal note, I'm really pissed about how they did this. I understand people are going to be like, well, yeah, but it's about the grind. You know, no, it's not. No, it's not. Division has never been about the grind to get to max level. It's about getting to max level and then grinding the gear so you can make the gear sets you want. It's not about the grind, at least to me. That's my personal opinion. that's about it, guys. I just wanted to tell you guys like how I did it. If you're not a DZ player, like I fear the DZ. I had such horrible times in the DZ in Division 1. I don't want anything to do with it. And so I just stay out of there. And so this is how I did it without going in the DZ, without doing, you know, challenging stuff over and over and over again. Here's the thing, the drop rates, I don't think they're any higher in your upper level stuff. Like say you play the very first mission, the Washington Hotel. I played that mission probably 20 times. But I played it on normal and I played it on story. I only did it on challenging one time, and I got the exact same drops, except for the boss will give you an extra piece of gear. That's it, but it's not guaranteed to be a higher level. So there's no point in taking 3 times longer to go through challenging just to get that 1 or 2 extra drops, when you can just run the thing on story in 5 minutes and get all the drops and have the same chance to get higher level gear. So keep that in mind also. Other than that, that's about it, guys. That's how I did it. I don't know what else to tell you besides I wouldn't. If I had a chance to go back and redo it, I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. Like, I really don't see the point in this. I honestly thought when I got to 500 that it would just drop me 500 level gear and then I could actually start working on setups. That's not what's happened. What's happened is I hit 500 and I'm still getting 490 stuff gear, which I'm never going to use that shit. The only option to use it is to wait until I get pieces I can mod into it to bump it up to 500, and then hope that it's higher than whatever I've got. And so I don't know if that's how they planned for us to get to 500 or higher, was to just get lower level pieces and mod them up, so we have to grind twice as much to get all the stuff to mod it and all that kind of crap. If they did, that's pretty shitty throttling, and that's literally what they've done. They've throttled the crap out of our leveling process now. But yeah, that's all opinion, guys. Sorry, this is supposed to be informative. That's how I did it. That's the whole thing. I hope this helps somebody. If there's somebody out there who's like just not a DZ player and you really want to get to 500, that's how you do it. Thanks a lot, guys. Sandman out.